great to be here once again on stage, being able to talk to all of you after keeping my title. So, as he mentioned, I'm from Sterling Heights, Michigan. I was born and raised a Midwestern girl, and I'm a personal trainer there. I do online and one-on-one training in Troy, Michigan. I've been competing since 2003, and the first competition I did was actually in fitness. So I did both fitness and figure, but have been more successful in figure. So I'm going to continue with that route. But training and dieting, and I don't really call it dieting, I call it a lifestyle because it's something that I do all year round, and I absolutely love it. And I started doing yoga last year in January. I think training doesn't necessarily only have to be in the gym with weights. You want to have fun with your training, and there's so many other aspects to health and fitness. So there's flexibility, coordination, agility, endurance, as well as strength. So I do yoga once or twice a week. I do vinyasa yoga, so I like a little bit faster pace. It's not quite as hot as Bikram, which is like 105 degrees in the room, but it's close to 85, 90 degrees. But flexibility and balance is really important to me. As a gymnast, it was one of those things where the first time I went after not stretching as much as I should have been or practicing my balance, I was a little bit shocked and kind of frustrated, but it makes me feel very relaxed and kind of allows me to check out of everything that's crazy going on in my life and allows me to stay calm and focused. And I also do CrossFit. I started doing CrossFit last year. So I love the feeling of my heart pounding out of my chest and not being able to go anymore. So just that challenge in itself, I think maybe as soon as I'm done with a competitive career, I might take up competing in CrossFit. I think it's so wonderful that we have so many different categories for all different women's body types. I think that, you know, you saw Nicole Negreani's physique, and it's more of a curvier body, and it almost reminds me of a dancer's physique. The women have a little bit harder time putting on a whole lot of muscle. The next category up is figure, so the body fat is a little bit lower and the muscle is a little bit more. And then fitness is, again, one step above that with the routine. So I think the women's physique is going to be really great for those figure girls who tend to come in a little bit on the leaner side and may not be placing as well as they would like. I think it's, like I said, I think it's going to be great to allow maybe women who are in bodybuilding but tend to be on the smaller side for an avenue to compete in as well. I think that flexibility is great for muscle recovery. It's good for your joints. It helps keep blood flow. It helps reduce your risk of injury. So it's really important to stretch after your training is done. You want to stretch when your muscles are warm because you get the greatest gains in flexibility afterwards. So oftentimes people don't stretch enough. You really only need to stretch 5 or 10 minutes after your training session or cardio session is done. But I do think it helps to kind of elongate the body, and yes, definitely. When I start my prep for a show, and all year round, I usually do about 45 minutes, 6 days a week. It depends on where my physique is at that moment. I tend to put on muscle fairly easy, and if I were to eat whatever I wanted, I would be fat. So there are some women who can get away with doing less cardio because they're trying to keep their mass. I definitely don't have that problem. So my cardio goes up to about an hour and a half, 7 days a week. I split it up. So, I mean, it's different every day. Like if I have in the past done it all at once, but it's more moderate, long duration. If I'm probably 90% of the time I split it in half, maybe even 3 sessions. So I'll do one in the morning and one at night and one in the afternoon. Shorter bouts do me a little bit better because I have more energy. Yes, I do use a heart rate monitor. The closer I get to the show, the stronger my endurance is, so the harder it is for my heart rate to get elevated. So I throw in a lot of intervals and high intensity interval training. Like I said, I love the feeling of my heart pounding out of my chest, but I would say on average I keep my heart rate between 145 and 155, but on high intensity days it can go up to 185, which for me, my resting heart rate is in the 40s, sometimes low 50s. I mean, I feel my arms get numb, so it's pretty high, it's pretty intense for me. I think this is probably the most frustrating part. Every body is so different. There are some women who, when they prepare for a competition, their upper body leans out before their lower body, so their arms get really, really lean, but they still have body fat in their hips and thighs. For those type of bodies, they most likely would need to do more running to kind of lean their lower body down. But I want to say that I think my parents. But when I gain weight or lose weight, it's pretty much even from top to bottom. But I'm very careful about keeping my fats and my carbs high enough. I actually eat more fats than I do carbs. It tends to work better with my body. But it's that fine balance of trying not to come in too lean, definitely. Well, because I don't compete in CrossFit, I only do it once a week. Like I said, maybe in the future this is something that I might take up a little bit more. The thing you have to watch with CrossFit and figure is that with the powerlifting it could make your waist a little bit thicker. I try and keep the powerlifting moves to a minimum for my body type anyways. It may work for some other figure competitors' physiques, but as long as you're not sore, you can train that body part the next day. If you are, then wait another day and then train it the next day. So just listen to your body and make sure that you're not overtraining. Well, you definitely need to weight train your lower body because the more dense your muscle tissue is, the more body fat you'll burn. In Michigan, I'm a little nervous to run outside while preparing for a competition because I don't want to take the chance of slipping on ice. So I do a lot more treadmill running in the winter. But in the summer, I do take advantage of running outside. I think it's harder because the terrain is uneven, and I do hill running. So it's just mixing it up. Don't do the same thing every single time so that your body gets used to it. Challenge yourself. If running at 6.0 or 6.5 is okay, and you can go for an hour, maybe you should ramp up the intensity a little bit and try 30 minutes at 7.5. So just keep pushing it, challenge yourself, have fun with it, throw in an interval every 2 minutes at 9.0 or 8.0, whatever you can do so that you end up finishing that cardio workout like you worked out, not just like I got 30 minutes in. I think supplementation is important. I work with Metrics. I take a lot of Metrics products. I take a multivitamin every day. I take vitamin C, L-glutamine, branched chain amino acids. I take a fish oil, omega-3 fatty acid, fat burners as I get closer, about halfway through the prep, and protein shakes, whey protein shakes. That's about it. It's pretty simple. Yeah. Well, I was a gymnast for about 13 years, and in gymnastics, a lot of the training is calisthenic-based, so it's pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, and we did a little bit of weight training. So my sophomore year in high school, I had my first knee surgery, and at that point, I had started working more with weights, just to keep the strength, so that when I started back in gymnastics, I wouldn't have as much to make up. And then I had a second knee surgery in my senior year on the same knee, so that I decided not to do gymnastics in college. And I started working at Oakland University, where I have my BA in Wellness and Health Promotion. And I worked in the weight room all 4 years. So in the beginning, I remember looking at old training programs, and it was just so all over the place. I must have done 20 shoulder exercises and 15. It was not structured at all. So I started dating this guy, and he was a bodybuilder, and he kind of helped me structure my workout. But honestly, I read a lot, and I ask a lot of questions, and I'm not afraid to admit when I don't know something, and if I don't know something, I want to find it out. So I'm constantly trying to learn new things and challenge myself. So that's kind of how I got into it, and then just kind of went from there. My protein is about 1.5 grams per pound all year round, and my carbs start out at about 120, and my fats are about 40, and then they vary depending on how my body is changing. Vegetables are unlimited. Okay. Monday I do shoulders. It's one of the focus areas of mine because in figure you're trying to shape your body to look a certain way. So you want that round shoulder cap, you want the V-taper back, small waist, and shapely legs without anything shaking when you walk. And Tuesday I do chest and arms, so I mix my arms and chest together. Wednesday I do legs. Thursday I usually do yoga. Friday I'll do CrossFit, and then Saturday I'll do back. And then Sunday is kind of a rest day. I may throw in another shoulder day during the week. I have in the past. Last year I did shoulders pretty much twice a week. One day heavy, one day light. But every single workout I do is different, so I don't go in and do the same shoulder workout every single week. So that way my body doesn't get used to the same thing. This also varies from person to person. If you're really lean, I mean, I see too many people mess with a good thing the last week of the show. If you're looking good, I mean, you really shouldn't change a whole lot. And with figure, you don't have to be really hard, so it's okay to have a little bit of softness. I drop my salt a day or two before, and then my water tapers down as the show goes. So this time, I came in drier than I ever did, and I dropped my water. Yeah, I really wasn't drinking water for about 2 days before. So, yeah, I take herbal diuretics like dandelion root, and yeah, that's about it. I sip water with my meals just to help it go down, but I mean, it's probably like, the last day is just sipping, very little. My mouth is pretty parched.
Okay, so then you keep your carbs in on the day as well?
I keep my carbs low.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little bit opposite of a lot of competitors. I never carb load, because if I were to carb load, I think I'd hold a lot of water. And I eat more fats. I don't eat a lot of dairy because I'm lactose intolerant. I do know competitors that can eat Greek yogurt and cottage cheese and be fine with it. So again, I think it varies on the person. I don't have any problem with dairy, as long as it's lower fat. Yep. Well, I have to tell you that after I got second last year, it really kicked me in the butt, you know, as Arnold said on stage. But I think overcoming adversity is something that is kind of indescribable.
You're ready to fight hard this year?
Yes.
Great.